Now, the reason why the alcoholic in your family has become in such denial, they're deflective. Everything you try to tell them, it gets deflected backwards. They gaslight you. I'm not the problem, you're the problem. And the reason why they do this is because anything that's confronting them is an effrontery upon their own identity. The alcohol has become the solution to their problems, to their repressed emotions, or to whatever malady that is they're suffering from. It could be PTSD, ADHD, could be bipolar. They could have borderline personality disorder, could be schizophrenia. Now, normally for most people, it could be also be hereditary issue, could be family culture, could be peer pressure, could be trauma in youth, could be, and it's all based on anxiety, on stress, repressed emotions, depression. These are all things that are catalysts of why people drink. Now, once the people drink to really cover that up and to deal with that, and this band-aid known as alcohol is taken over, once the addiction takes place, it becomes embedded into that person. It becomes part of their identity. And you're not only attacking just the alcohol that they're consuming, you're attacking the solution to their problem, to their anxiety, to their stress, to their depression. And that is a very, very scary place for someone who is suffering from alcohol use disorder. And the thing is, I talk to so many people that every day, clients or people on social media, or the life that I lived with my wife, who unfortunately passed away from alcohol use disorder almost 5 years ago, is that I hear this all the time. We tried this, they went to rehab, they've gone to counseling meetings, they've gotten in trouble with the law, they've had DUIs, all this irrational behavior. They've had to go to the ER. They've detoxed. They almost died here. They almost died here. They got into an accident. It was an atrocious thing we had to go through. And we tried this, and we tried that, and we did this, and we did this, and nothing seems to work. What are we going to do? Family members are at the point where they just want to throw their hands up. They just don't know what to do. And the thing is, and I really hope this is really designed for families more than anything, is 100%, it's the responsibility of the alcoholic in your family. The only person who can take care of that person is the person themselves. And you will have to get to the point and resign to the fact that you as a family member are really almost powerless to some extent. You can coax that person, you can create your boundaries, but ultimately on the next segment that I'm going to talk about, you got to take care of yourself. It's not about resigning. You have to allow that person to fail on their own, because the only way they're going to find success is to hit their own rock bottom and to come to their own conclusion that they've had enough of their lifestyle, and then they can reach out, and then they can get help, and hopefully that rock bottom will happen before they ultimately succumb to the disease. And believe me, as a family member, I know there's nothing more heartbreaking than this. And I think the saddest part is when I talk to parents and they have a teenager or somebody in their 20s or 30s or even 40s, and they feel like they've lost their son or daughter to this disease, and it's so heartbreaking. They've tried everything. And a lot of times families are enabling too much. They're allowing them to live there. They provide financial assistance, and that's ultimately not helping the person, unfortunately. I mean, it's only natural to reach out, and you want to help our children, but in the long run, you're really not helping them. You're just prolonging the problem. And the other issue is a lot of alcoholics will placate the issue. They may look like they're going through the motions. Maybe they're going to meetings. Maybe they're actually going to a rehab, or they went to a sober living. And the minute they get out, they're right back to where they were, and they're drinking right away. And this is all about placating the people in their lives, and they've never really 100% committed to the process because they're not ready yet, they're too scared, and they're too addicted, unfortunately. So what can we do as family members really to take care of ourselves and have to deal with this horrible situation with the alcoholic in our family? And really a lot of things that the alcoholic must, or the family members to the alcoholic must do, you have to get to the point where you got to step back and realize you got to take care of you. You have to make yourself a priority and not get sucked into the emotions and the drama and the toxicity. And you got to step back. You got to pull back and make yourself a priority. Even if you're in a marriage, you have to create your own life, even outside that marriage. And this is why it's important to work on yourself. Exercise, do something creative, Have other relationships outside the marriage. I mean, platonic. I'm not talking about, having a relationship. I'm talking about find new friends, find new activities, things that make you tick outside the marriage. Because if you're going to stay in there and try to help that person, you got to make sure to take care of your own mental health. As parents, it's the hardest thing in the world, but sometimes you do have to step back. And if you're a child of alcoholic parents, work on your life. Okay, the best revenge, I don't like to say revenge, but the best example of this, if you want to nip the hereditary issue in the bud, number one is don't drink yourself. Stop the plague, this hereditary issue that's gone down the line in your family, and don't drink, number one, and be successful in your own right. That's how you break away and end this family addiction. And believe me, I know this heartbreak just as much as any family member, because my wife went to 7 rehabilitation facilities. She had 4 DUIs, multiple emergency hospital stays, and it went on for, the last 6, 7, 8 years of her life were really the most traumatic. And again, her memoir is called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. It's the story of my wife's 25-year decline with alcohol use disorder, and she succumbed by falling down a flight of stairs in her 7th rehabilitation facility, which ultimately ended in 12 surgeries and 28 days in ICU, and eventually succumbed to the disease. So I've been down this road. I'm very familiar with this, and I'm really here to help other families. And alcoholics recognize that they have a problem, and recognize what they're doing to their families. I think more than anything, this page has brought recovering alcoholics and alcoholics to the realization that they're not only hurting themselves, they're hurting everybody in their life. And again, I go live Monday through Friday right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We have the Facebook group. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. And we also have the coaching program, one-on-one. Set up a breakthrough call. It takes about 45 minutes or so. We do a deep dive into what's going on with you and your family. Make sure the alcoholic's on there. If you set up an appointment, make sure and be there. The call is free. The coaching program's definitely not. But I've saved many, many people. If you're ready to change your life and the life of your family, set up a call. And again, thanks so much for listening.